Cool.
All right, everybody. I have the special honor of welcoming one of the new artists that you guys have to definitely check out. I'm getting familiar with him as we speak. Please welcome Brandon Hines to KEMPIRE Radio for the first time. Brandon, what's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Brandon, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, because we call KEMPIRE Radio Real Talk with a real host. I know your name, but I was not familiar with the voice or the music or anything like that. But of course, like any good interviewer, I had to get familiar with your work and who you are. And let me tell you, I'm definitely impressed. The voice is crazy,
Appreciate that, man.
and
Appreciate.
and because I love singers, I don't be surprised throughout this interview. I might have you sing things, just to sing. But for those that are just like me, that are not familiar with who Brandon Hines is, in 3 words, how would you describe yourself? So people can just kind of get an idea of who you are.
3 words:
3 words.
loving, edgy, and uh, it's an experience. You know,
Mm.
experience to deal with me.
So Brandon Hines, how I know this is a question you probably receive from everyone all the time, trying to get familiar with who you are. But some people are somewhat familiar with the people that you've worked with and how you've come up. But how did this all begin for you, and why did you say, you know what, I have to do music, I have to do it professionally. This is who I am.
And to tell you the truth, it began in a dorm room back at Howard University. We
Mm.
just with some classmates and ended up creating a album, an independent album that got a good response around the D.C. area, Howard, and throughout the college circuit.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of inspired me to want to pursue a career in music. So I was getting that positive feedback and the love and creating fans. Just it kind of gave me that encouragement to keep going and keep creating music.
How did you end up meeting the likes of like Troy Taylor and JD?
Well, Troy Taylor, I worked with him shortly after I left school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he checked out that album, and he sent for me to kind of work. Troy's a good vocal producer,
Mm-hmm.
and a good he's a he knows music. He knows his music. So I learned a lot as far as like voice and you know different groups and artists to listen to for harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that was a good experience working with Troy. And then from there, I was introduced to Joe Nicolo through, a college friend who, and I got to, get more into the depths of music and put together an independent EP in search of. I don't know if you checked that out.
Yes, it did.
So through Joe, I got to meet and work with Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox,
Okay.
and that's been a great experience as well.
I mean, JD. I mean, he's legendary. What kind of advice has Jermaine Dupri given you?
Jermaine Dupri has given me a lot of advice, throughout the trip. Well, it's been about a year and a half, 2 years since we've been working, but he's given me a lot of advice. So the most important advice he's given me is to really write life, to really, express your art as it relates to you, and not be afraid to, share your experiences and reach out to people. And so that's been something that's good, that he's taught me, and also just recognizing, the star quality,
Mm-hmm.
and what can be attained. You know what I mean, when you put your mind to it.
My question to you, and I asked you, to describe 3 words that describe who you are, Brandon Hines, and you said experience. And in this, R&B is a dying art, pretty much in the music industry, and there are only a handful of R&B guys that are doing it. How do you fit into into the world of music and R&B? What separates Brandon Hines from the rest, like a Trey Songz or a Chris Brown or an Usher?
Well, every artist is their own artist. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, each artist that you mentioned is great. in their own right. And I think what I bring is, Brandon Hines, my experiences, my soulfulness, my difference, and my being, my willingness to kind of like share my soul, and that's really the common thread. I know like R&B is, it is on the fence, whether it's before, years back, it was a big thing. So I really want to kind of, incorporate that soulfulness and that mood and emotion, of R&B and bring that back into like a great light, and make it possible.
You mentioned you went to Howard University, and I know you majored in marketing. Marketing is going to be a key to your career. What are some of the skills that you picked up and that you've been utilizing for the branding of, I know you did your independent projects and now this new project with Epic Records. How are you putting that marketing experience to work?
Uh, just really figuring out creative ways to really stay connected with my fans, because they're really the most important thing. I mean, the support. Without the support, I can't thrive as an artist. So really online, face-to-face time, thinking of creative ways to kind of attract people and touch people. You know what I mean? So that, and also creating great material, that people are gonna love and want to come back to, time and time again. That's really what I try to hone. And as far as marketing goes, I learned a lot in school, but really, my focus is, artists and being an artist, and I kind of let Epic, who has a great marketing team, strategize and help me with that.
How did you land at Epic?
How did I land at Epic? It was interesting, man. Jermaine was shopping one of his other artists, Leah LaBelle, and he material when he had a big important meeting with L.A. Reid, and he played some of that material, and L.A. Reid was interested. He expressed interest, so I got to come down and showcase. Of course, I was nervous.
Of course, L.A. Reid.
Exactly, right. And so, I did a good job there. L.A., he really enjoyed it and thought I was a star. So, and now here I am at Epic, and it's been a great experience so far. I'm really excited about, everybody that I've been working with thus far at Epic, Very happy.
Well, you sang for L.A. Reid, so you have to definitely sing for our audience tonight. Sing a little something. Come on, you can't. Look, when singers come here on the show, they have to sing.
All right, well, yeah, I'll sing a little bit of the single,
Yes.
Yes You Are. And you can check that video out on Vivo, and you can purchase this on iTunes. So that's my little drop for Yes You Are. I'll sing a little bit of it. I got a song I want to sing to my number one fan. Plan to put a ring on it as soon as I can. What I mean is I don't want you to have to worry about nothing, babe. Nothing, babe. While I'm trying to set it out for my lady. I know you know I love you. There we go. I mean, that's a little something.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. So you expecting a little more, is what you saying.
Well, I'm gonna ask you to sing some more stuff, so don't worry. Brandon, first of all, who are some of your musical influences? Because I watched a few different live performances, and you have a lot of soul in there and a lot of R&B. Who are some of the people that you looked up to and listened to growing up?
Man, all of the greats. From Stevie, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, so also the Motown sound. I was a big fan of that growing up. Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson. More currently, like Coldplay, the Beatles, Luther Vandross, Maxwell, Alicia Keys. Hip hop. From Jay-Z to Kanye West and Pharrell. So I mean, it's a broad. My influences are pretty broad. I like to listen to any artist, any of the geniuses throughout history, and kind of like see what they were thinking and kind of go where they were. When they.
So, of course, we have to, you have a lot of female fans, and I know we cannot do an interview without addressing, a little bit more on the personal side. If you were to take one of your female fans out on a date, what would be the Brandon Hines experience?
It'd be, I'll probably come meet her at her house. We'll have a nice car, set up with some champagne in the car or some wine in the car, whichever she would prefer. Might do a nice dinner, a nice Italian dinner. Maybe an in-home movie situation or like, pool or bowling, something where we can kind of get to know each other. And,
You taking her home on the first date?
boys, it's an experience.
It's an experience. All right, all right. What are some other things that besides music that Brandon does for fun?
Well, I'm into art, so and collecting art. I'm an artist, a growing artist, so I like to draw sometimes.
Cool.
Like to look at different places that I like to visit and study history, things like that. Also, I'm into sports. I like to check out, ESPN. I'm into film. I'm like a Ebert and Cisco. You know what I mean? I like to sit there.
Um, Again, Brandon, thank you so much for being here on KEMPIRE Radio CKIF. We definitely are looking at your career and definitely supporting you. We love the music so far from what we've heard. What is coming up? We know the Yes You Are video is now on Vivo. Also, it was featured on 106 in Park, wasn't it?
Pardon me, what's the last thing you said?
The Yes You Are video was featured on 106 in Park, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What else is
Yep.
coming up? What else is coming up for you?
I'm working on my debut album, working very hard on that. So you can expect that soon, very soon.
Who are you collaborating with on that?
It's a surprise. Jermaine and Brian Cox,
Hmm.
David Kahn, uh, Tricky Stewart, Los Maestro, R. Kelly, just to name a few. But you can expect some surprises on that album. Okay, I'm
Any
working.
any any dream collaborations that you would like to, either singer or producer or songwriter?
I have many. I don't want to jinx myself though.
But you also have to, if you want, you got to declare it too.
True, true. I mean, we're working on some things right now. I kind of want part of the album to be, surprising and people to be interested to see what's on there, and who actually we got to collab with. But yeah, I do have some dream producers and artists that I would like to work with and see on my first album. So
Okay. All right, Brandon Hines, thank you so much for being here on the show. But of course, before I let you go, you have to sing something else for us.
I'm, I'm gonna have to,
Say it again.
yeah, I'm gonna have to charge you. But yeah, I'll do that for you, Ken. So
It's my birthday. Come on.
I hear you. I got you. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Said I've been waiting so long. This is for the ladies. Text message in your phone like, baby, hurry up. Anticipate what I'ma put on. You gotta warm it up for daddy, baby. You know what's up. I've been waiting on you to get to my room. You're all I wanna do, babe. There you go, right there.
Brandon, thank you. Well, Brandon, if I ask you to sing more than once on the show, that means I like your voice. So it's a compliment.
I'm mad.
Brandon Hines here on KEMPIRE Radio for our special birthday celebration, TKIF Thank Campus Friday. Brandon, thank you so much. Where can people follow you on Twitter and all that great stuff so they know what's coming up for you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Hines, the real, Hines, the real. You can check me out on Vivo. You can purchase my single on iTunes, Yes You Are, and also my feature record on a Think Like a Man soundtrack, Fire, on iTunes. And you can check me out for, if you want to look at some of my older material on DBoyB313 at YouTube.com.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much for being here on the show. I definitely appreciate you, and hopefully you'll come back again when the album comes out, right?
Of course.
That's what I'm
Of
talking
course.
about. That's what I'm talking about. Brandon Hines here on KEMPIRE Radio's TKIF Thank Campus Friday.